side. Well, he came and visited to the superintendent and the school board, and he had just worked on the Delgado case up in, what's the name, cerca de Austin?
San Marcos.
No. I'll think of it in a minute. Eh? No, the case is Senator Barrientos. That's the they used that case. Yeah, I'll think of the name. But look, he came and spoke to us, so we had an opportunity. When he came and he said, this was a LULAC leader. He's also the guy that presented before the Supreme Court the Hernandez case, which identifies us as a separate entity in this country, a separate ethnic group. And he went over there, and consequently, I was one of the first kids to go to school with Anglos, because the better facility, the better curriculum, and they were all headed where? To college, because why? The parents there were all landed gentry, they had ranchos, they had money. They had 2 or 3 generations going to UT and Texas A&M. But he made it an even field so that we could also have access to those schools. Our people paid taxes there. Our moms and dads paid taxes there. Why shouldn't we have the same facilities? And so that was the battle. But since then, you would be impressed with how when you go to school and you're being prepared, like the young ladies that are here from Irma Rangel School who get millions of dollars in scholarships because of their high academic skills. They're going to universities like Harvard and MIT. Notre Dame. Best from Texas. That's where the first came from.
Good job,
anyway,
Mari.
You know, a lot of the teachers would tell me later on that me and my 2 other buddies that started school with the Anglos, they wanted to ask us, who speaks English at home? They said, well, my grandparents who raised me, they don't. When my grandparents that raised me, the only words they speak, I can't say them here because they're bad words. And they would say, son of a biche and God damn it. Those are the 3 words that they use. And so I couldn't tell my teacher that's the extent of their language skills. But it was my opportunity to be able to graduate not only from Dilley, but as part of the migrant stream. I know not only went to school in Mount Summit, Indiana, because that's where the migrant workers would go. The truck would stop in my hometown right after we got out of high school in May. We'd get in the truck, we'd go by the church, the priest would bless us. We didn't stop until we got to Hope, Arkansas. I know you don't expect to know where Hope, Arkansas. I do know where it's at. And that's where Bill Clinton was from Hope, Arkansas. We kept on going until we got to Mount Summit, Indiana, where Libby's the tomato, they had their plant there. And we used to sleep in these railroad cars while we were there. And we had shared bathrooms and all that kind of stuff, like in the military. But I also went up north and picked a cherry up in Michigan, in Traverse City. You know, we have a graduate from some of the best Michigan schools here, Bernardo Reste, and maybe others that are here. Many of them are recruited from San Antonio to go to college in Michigan because we couldn't get into the colleges elsewhere once you got your degree. But even here in my hometown, they didn't expect you to graduate past the 6th grade. You know why? They would give you a graduation in the 6th grade. That was all you were going to have. Because they wanted you to be part of the working class and working the fields. They was called something a disciplined labor policy, where they would educate you enough so you know how much fertilizer you need for 600 acres of planting watermelons or whatever, or peas, you name it. And that's the way the system was here. If it had not been for Gus Garcia and LULAC to change that system, to be more equal for everybody. You guys are blessed of all the inroads that have been made to make sure that those doors of opportunity are open to you all. So you have to concentrate now and take it to the next level. Like, for example, all you young people, can you tell me if your parents graduated from high school? Please raise your hand. If your parents finished high school. Okay, can you tell me if your parents went to college? See why we have to do what we have to do? Not enough going to high school and going to college and beyond. Think about that. Put an image in your mind about thinking about either UT, A&M, UTSA, Rice University, Harvard, California, Air Force Academy, Naval Academy. His son right here to my left, my brother James Facuda from New Jersey. His son is about to finish the Naval Academy. So we have to think like that, okay? Think about, you shoot for the stars, like my friend Jose Hernandez. Jose Hernandez, the astronaut, have you heard of him? One time I was at the White House, and George Bush was celebrating Cinco de Mayo, 16 de septiembre. Somebody tapped me in the back and he says, "Are you Mr. Flores from LULAC?" I said, "Yeah." And he had like a blue uniform. I thought he was an immigration officer. I said, "Oh." And he said, "No, Mr. Flores, I'm Jose Hernandez. I just got accepted to NASA." And he tried for about 12 times, and he was not accepted 12 times. His wife told him, she said, "That's it. I hate that NASA. I'm not going to get in." So his wife told him, "Jose, are you going to be a loser? Is that what you're going to teach your children? You already have like 3 or 4 kids, that you give up?" And so she forced him to go in. One thing about Jose, half of his family was born in California, the other half of the family in Mexico, because depending on the crops, they went back and forth. And Jose stuck with it. He found out that what the qualities that the other applicants had, some of them were actually pilots, some of them were what do you call that? Buceo in English, where you go...
submarine.
Buceo in English, where you go underwater with a snorkeling. And another one was, they had different foreign languages. So he was finally admitted, and guess what he did? He told his bosses, so since we were going to have a manned space station out there in space, and so he was working for NASA, he said, "Well, boss, do you think I ought to learn Russian so I can be prepared for the time comes when we're going to work with the Russians?" So the guy went to Russia, he speaks Russian, fluent Russian, besides Spanish and English. One thing that I would remark also, those of you that know Spanish, do not lose it. Keep it. There was a guy by the name of Jose Marti in Cuba, but he lived in Mexico a long time because they expelled him because they were trying to also gain independence from Spain. And he said, "El que pierde su idioma, pierde su cultura." If you lose your language, you lose your culture. So not only that, but now all the corporations and all the units of government, they want bilingual people. Why? Why? Not only Spanish and English, but other languages. You know why? Because of our consumption rate. Our consumption right now, it could be the 5th economy of the world. $3 trillion is how much the 62 million Latinos that are in our country, they consume $3 trillion. Can you imagine? I don't know how many zeros there are, but there's a hell of a lot of zeros there. The other thing is that you're being joined by many, because our population growth is incredible, not only in Texas, but the United States of America. In Texas, as of 2020, there were 40.2% of the Texans here, or the real Texans, which is us, and 30% in California, which is the largest state. And the Hispanic growth rate in Texas from 2021 to 2050, which you're going to be around and I'm not, is going to be 71% increase. Can you imagine? It's going to be paling to the $3 trillion by then. And not only that, I'm sure that among us here are many doctors and lawyers and professors, and I'm sure a lot of entrepreneurs, because remember that the United States is a capitalist country. So think about getting not only a professional degree and postgraduate degree, but think about becoming an entrepreneur. This country is founded because, and we have quality of life because of the entrepreneurs that help us get this quality of life. Because they'll be paying for your skills, your bilingual language skills. So keep that language. I know what I'm telling you. You know that with every country, education is the most important thing. It is a great equalizer for all. Because when you get a degree or more, or even if you become something else that is going to give you a living wage, there's a lot of Has anybody ever called the air conditioning guy? The guy charges you 100 to 125. He hasn't even gotten to your house to see what's wrong with your air conditioner. And you know, like anything else, if you ask those people to come and check your air conditioner, it's at least $100, man. I mean, go in and come in, they know how to put it to you. We're growing by leaps and bounds is the bottom line. And you're going to have a lot of people along with you to support you in everything that you do in life. But always never forget that when you get there and you get that top job, and or you're teaching, or you're a professor in college, or you're maybe a lawyer, or you're working for the federal government, don't forget the ones that haven't made it like you.
Yeah.
And finally, I want you to know that injustice cannot be cured, but it can be confronted. You can do it by actually voting against those candidates that are unjust, that could care less about our well-being. Or we can also sue them, like we do readily, even the units of government, like immigration and others that we had to do because of brutality and the way that our people are treated from time to time. Just remember that each one of us and each generation, we must do so to confront these things and try to find relief for those that can't defend themselves. Never believe that your dream is out of reach. Dream big. Dream as big as you can.
Yes.
Because here in this country, you can reach your dreams, your goals. Set goals for yourself. Think about what you want to do. Model yourself after others. How much time I got?
That's it.
Okay. Can I have your attention back there? You're bothering me.
Roger. Typical Roger.
Hey, Roger. Roger Rocha. Pull it down. TC.
Go in the
Pull
bar.
it down. No gallery here. Go over there. Go to the bar.
There you go.
Again, when you succeed, remember these words by a philosopher by the name of John Wesley. When you succeed, which you will, remember also to help others. Do all the good that you can, by all the means that you can, in all the places that you can, at all the times you can, as long as you ever can. Thank you very much.